I don't remember any of it.
You don't remember?
For you, the day bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 111. Just a reminder before we start that you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, YouTube, and Vero at Rated G for Gamers. You can always email us at info@ratedgforgamers.com. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino. This is my co-host, Dan. I didn't know they made a book out of Ready Player One, Robinson.
I didn't know they made a book. What are you?
It's been out for like 7-8 years.
And you said it wasn't even popular when it came out.
Well, no, but like now it's super popular. So much so that the movie is coming out next week.
Spielberg made a movie about it.
Yeah, it is a Spielberg production. I have high hopes for it. I actually just finished the book, which is why we're bringing this up now. The ending was good.
And we just talked about it. I didn't know you could throw a curveball at me in the beginning of the show.
Yeah, of course. If anybody doesn't know about it, which everybody has to know about it by now, it's basically a love letter to the 70s and 80s. It's a book that has so many pop culture, video game references, music references, and whatnot. But there's an actual story behind the whole entire thing. It's all about this big like virtual reality MMO game, and there's this quest, and if you solve the quest, you take over the whole entire game. Like you basically become the creator, which is like awesome. And it's, there's a lot of twists and turns and whatnot, but yeah, I'm seeing it next week, so should be good.
I didn't know it was a book. I mean, I thought it was just a cool movie that
no way
Steven Spielberg came up with.
No. Well, like here's the thing too. Like if you watch that trailer, right? There's like a bunch of trailers out for it, but you will notice all of these disparate properties, right? You'll see like Master Chief and Ryu and Pac-Man and like Mazinger Z and like Ultraman and Godzilla and just like licenses from like tons of different companies, and you're like, wait, how did they get the Akira bike, and how did they get Optimus Prime, and how did they got like everything. It is ridiculous. They got all the licenses to make this happen.
And I thought, isn't like Master Chief in it? So it has like modern games too.
Yeah. It wasn't necessarily mentioned in the book. They I think they kind of put some licenses in there that were easier to get, maybe. To kind of like pad out some of the background scenes and whatnot. Like they're kind of referenced and alluded to, saying that like, because you can kind of just about anything relevant to pop culture is inside the game world. So even though they don't talk about it in the book per se, like it's got to be there in some fashion, right? Like they have like a world dedicated to family ties, right? You can go to a planet that's like family ties themed. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. Like all these like little details are in there.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's great.
Okay.
It's great.
Well, before you threw me to a curve, you threw a curveball at me. What's going on, man? I had to get that in there.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Ready Player One's going on. I'll tell you that.
Me a curve. I had no idea you were going to go that way.
No,
I did not know it was a book. It was a book. I will pick the book up. Well, I'm gonna see if it's on. I'm gonna see if I can get it on my iPad.
You can get it cheap. I was gonna say, I'll let you borrow my physical copy if you want.
No, the only reason, listen, the only physical copies I want are video games. Okay, everything else I can take digital.
I was just gonna say, and you are you're approaching a milestone now, isn't it?
Well, yes, we were talking about this the other day. I'm up to 2,600 games. Okay, what would I do when I hit 3,000? Right,
that's the question.
I'll be thinking about 4,000. You're thinking about 4,000 games. Listen, every collection is different. It's like a fingerprint, right? No collection is the same. No one collect. You can have 2,600 games, and our collections will be like night and day, right? Because we will have different games.
Right. Yeah, it's the thing you always talk about, the fingerprint. You know, each game collection is unique.
I think once I hit like 3,000, I think I would. You know, again, this can all change if I go to a garage sale and everything is super cheap. I think once I hit 3,000, I'm going to go strictly for just like good games that I really want to play at some point, and just not pick up everything, not even the Disney games. I mean, there was a YouTuber, what's his name? The Co-op Collector recently. We were trying to meet up with him last PAX. Hopefully we get a chance to meet up with him this PAX, if he's even coming this PAX, the PAX East. He sold a lot of his collection off. He sold most of his collection off because he said he got a little bored and he had a lot of filler, and he wanted to pretty much only have games that he liked, enjoyed, meant something to him, or that he wanted to play at some point. I don't anticipate ever selling my collection, like selling things off, but I definitely think once I hit 3,000 games, I would be more inclined to only buy games that I want to play, compared to buying everything. Because at this point, I still just buy if I go to a garage sale, your Disney games, you know what? Add it to the box. Let's go. I'll take them all.
So I mean, basically what you're saying, and it makes 100% sense, is you're over the whole thrill of just like collecting to collect and just getting new things and whatever else. Like, you know, you've done all that. You have all these games. You're not necessarily going to be playing all these games, and you know, room is certainly a factor, right? You know, nobody has these mansions, so. You know, you got to kind of like start paring down a little bit. Like, I'm almost out of bookcase space again, and I just bought a new bookcase like earlier this year. And it's like, well, now I got to get another bookcase, and where's that going to go? You know, and then you see all these empty shelves, and you're like, I'm going to fill them up again. And then you can go and get another, you know, 3, 4, 5, 600 games, and then you got to buy another shelf. You know, so.
Well, I'm not. It's like, you know, when you're first collecting. You know, I know when I was first collecting, again, I started out collecting. We talked about this maybe like 40, 50 episodes ago. I first started collecting just to buy games I lost when I was a kid. And then I started buying games that I knew as a kid, but never got as a kid.
Right. You're like, oh, I remember that game. I want to play that game. And you get it, you come home, you play it, and it's probably great. Like, how did I miss this?
And then there's games, and then there are games I never even heard of. It was like, wow, I never even knew this game existed. Well, I got to see what this is too, right? And you get over that initial, you know, I have, you know, that small shelf, and you're like, I got to have a bigger shelf, right? I have more games, more room. I got a lot of shelves. I got like 10 shelves. I got like 10 shelves and 3 TV stands and a stereo stand. Like, I got a lot of shelves. In space, real estate is a key factor as well. And who knows? I may change my mind. I may hit 3,000 and said, you know what? Bring 4,000 on. I don't care if there are Disney games. I don't care. But I am thinking at this point, I do want to expand and get a bigger place. And if I get a bigger place, more money, more problems. You know, I'm gonna have to cut back somewhere, and somewhere will be cut back on the random spending of games that I just hear of and say, hey, I want to check that out.
Yeah. I'm surprisingly making it work. Still able to buy video games and pay the mortgage. So knock on wood, hopefully that doesn't change. But you know, you do have to be a little selective. You know, you can't just be going after Ogre Battle every week, and you know, trying to spend the big bucks.
But I will say, I am getting a Dookie controller. I will be getting that from GameStop from Hyperkin.
You're getting one of the worst controllers in history. I see.
It's not that bad. I got big hands. I'm sorry. I got big hands. I like the Dookie.
That just says it right there. You said it's not that bad. You didn't say it was great. You didn't say I love it. You said it's not as bad as you think it is. Okay, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
I'm going for the. Listen. I always call it the Dookie. I will continue to call it the Dookie because that was my nickname for it. Because who calls the controller the Duke controller?
Well, you're basically calling it what it is. It's a giant pile of Dookie.
it's big. I tell you that.
Yeah, it's big.
With triggers.
Yeah.
With triggers.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the one thing that is like kind of super cool. I mean, I know they've kind of done it before, but you really don't see controllers that have little LCD light up screens in them, right? That's like really cool. So they basically like recreated the Xbox startup logo from the OG Xbox. So every time you like power it on and whatnot, it does the little thing, and then the little blob comes in and makes the X, and that's kind of cool. But it's not enough. It's not enough for me to get it.
But it's not wireless. There's a reason why you don't see that in games. I mean, in other controllers, because when that controller is wireless, that thing in the middle is going to kill the battery.
Yeah.
All right. So this thing isn't wireless. This thing is hardwired. Well, I think it's hardwired. I could one of them is hardwired. I don't think it is wireless. But
it may be,
I think it's so cool. I will use it too. I will use it.
See, like
when a Division 2 comes out and we get it for the Xbox One X, I will be using my Dookie Hyper King controller.
I mean, good on you. I'm gonna stick with the Xbox One controller. No. Oh,
also, we were talking about this. You were in a power, like you never. Well, I guess you are old. I mean, I joke about your age, but you are a couple of years older than me.
Yeah, right? I'm a handful of years older. Two to be exact.
Yes,
but I was like right at that bridge where like maybe you shouldn't be watching Power Rangers anymore. Like that's like that Power Ranger started in like 93, I think, right?
93. I was 11.
Right.
I was 11.
So it was like right at the point I was like, I mean, I get what this is. It's the whole Sentai thing, and they turn into giant robots.
You knew what Sentai was? I had no idea what the hell Sentai was.
Well, I didn't know it was called Sentai, but like I knew it was like Voltron. It was like Voltron, but like with actual
live action Voltron.
It was basically live action Voltron. They've been like doing it in Japan for years, but
okay, so. I was a huge Power Ranger fan growing up. Mm-hmm. I remember like it was yesterday, the commercial for Power Rangers coming out next Saturday.
Right.
I was like, oh my God, I gotta watch this. Like I remember that like it was yesterday. I was like, oh my God, like this is the Power Rangers. I don't even know what this is, but this looks awesome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I remember and I was the Red Ranger, when I went to school, like this is before like the Green Ranger came, and even when the Green Ranger came, everyone was like, "I'm the Green Ranger." No, I'm the Red Ranger. You know why? Because I'm the leader. Okay, I tell the Green Ranger what to do. Okay, you morph and you go over there. We're gonna do this. Okay, because I'm the leader. So over the years, Tommy has been like, well, his real name is Jason. Funny enough, I always thought that was funny when the credits came on. As a side note, I was the Red Ranger, and in the show. The Red Ranger, his character's name was Jason.
Mm-hmm.
However, his real name was Austin St. Green.
Right.
But the Green Ranger's name is Jason. I was like, oh, that's so weird because I had a friend who would say, no, I want to be Jason. And you call him by their real name. He's like, no, you're Austin. I was like, dude, we're pretending to be Power Rangers, okay? It's Jason and Tommy. Stop calling Tommy Jason. Well, that's his real name. No, he's not a Power Ranger. He's an actor, okay? Stay in character.
Wow. There you go.
Listen, I was 11 years old, but I was dedicated. Okay, I was dedicated to the fantasy.
That's funny.
But all right, the Power Ranger movie came out over the summer. Didn't do so well. I mean, it did okay. I'm sure it did really well, but not as well as they expected it to do.
Right.
So I haven't really been following up, but the Power Rangers, the comic book, has been doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
And Tommy. Jason David Frank, the guy who plays Tommy, Saban has been very loyal to Saban, and Saban has let him use the Power Ranger name and character and likeness on a lot of different projects. I mean, it was like he played the Green Ranger versus Ryu and the White Ranger versus Ryu.
Wow,
and Saban has signed off on that.
That's really surprising. Most companies don't let their properties out like that. Like
but Tommy was the face of Power Rangers after. Even when he wasn't the leader, like he was the face of Power Rangers.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So, and he's been very loyal. He stayed to the end, like as far as like before they changed the cast, and even then he came back as a teacher, as like an elder statesman Power Ranger.
Oh, I see. Passing down the wisdom to the youngins.
Yeah. So basically, in the comic book has gotten darker, and I'm surprised. I only wanted to talk about this because I'm kind of surprised because when the movie was coming out, or before the movie came out. a couple of people made a short of, and they posted it online and posted it on YouTube. If Power Rangers were sort of like real life, because right now we're in the phase of the reboot, the real life reboot, right?
Right.
Like instead of the fantasy sort of fantasy story, everything's being told sort of, what if this was like in real in modern time?
Mm-hmm.
And someone said if Power Rangers were like sort of real, they would be more military style. And it was this whole short, and Saban sort of, you know, try to take it down, strike it down. But look, they're like, hey, this is not being monetized. There's no money being involved. Let us have this.
Right.
And he let up and he let them have it. But he said, you know, he didn't want Power Rangers to be shown in sort of like a dark way. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the comic book in this new short, this new trailer really for the comic book called Shattered Grid is about Tommy in an ultimate dimension who is sort of like the Green Ranger and White Ranger put together, you know, being an evil ranger and taking over the world, and he killed all the other rangers, and now he wants to come to our dimension and take over the world. It doesn't get any darker than that.
That's pretty dark right there. It's pretty dark, I'll have to say.
You know,
it's kind of cool.
Like, hey, they could be gods. I'm a god. I have this power, you know? And that's true. What if Power Rangers said, you know what? Screw this. I want to take over.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's the plot of most superhero movies, you know, somebody gets a little power drunk and whatnot, and you know, it gets a little goes a little over the edge, and he's like, look, I'm going to do right for my people. I want to go ahead and, you know, everything's going to be under our control, right? You know, it's like I finally saw Black Panther over the weekend, and that was essentially the plot of that movie, you know.
What did you think? It was about time. Like
it was great. It was great. It was great.
Okay.
Great movie. Yeah. Very good. Very good. I enjoyed it. I mean, Infinity War is coming out like real soon. I was like,
in a month.
I need to see this movie. Yeah.
Pre-orders. Okay, so Black Panther shattered pre-order numbers, right? Infinity War shattered the Black Panther numbers for pre-orders. So it's crazy. Like Infinity War is gonna be crazy, and next year we get Avengers 4, which will be the last Avengers movie, we think.
Mm-hmm.
But Captain America said that's it. He's after next year's Avengers movie.
He's gonna bow out.
He's not playing the character anymore.
Unless they offer him a large sack of money, you know, anyone can do anything for the right amount of money, I think.
He did say one time after he does his 3 movies and the 2 Avengers movies, it was only supposed to be 2, that he's done. And then he did 3 Avengers movies. Well, actually, no, they wrapped on the 4th Avengers movie like a couple of months ago.
Did they? Oh.
Yeah. So that movie for next year is already done.
Interesting. Right. And now it's just all post-production.
Yeah, and they'll probably do some reshoots, whatever, because that's normal in movies.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Marvel movies, did you see the Deadpool 2 trailer, the new trailer that came out?
I did, and it looks fantastic.
It was hilarious.
I
just love it how he's like, in the beginning, he's running, and the guy just can't hear him. He's just like listening to the music, and he just jumps through the window, and it's like, whoa,
go. Yeah. I think it's going to be just as good, if not better, than the first one.
Well,
which is hard to say.
They had some screenings, some early test screenings, and it wasn't so positive, and they're doing some reshoots.
Really? You never know with that, you know, because when they do like those test screenings and whatnot, like usually there's some sort of they have some sort of what's the word? Ulterior motive behind the scenes, right? Like they want to get a certain answer out of people, right? You know, and this is all the executives that are in there, right? Because they're the ones that are like, look, this movie needs to make money. Let's get a test audience in and see what they say, right? And you know, I don't buy it.
Well, test screenings aren't new, and reshoots.
Yeah, I know, but
you know, I mean, The Rock is a big time movie star, and he always posts on his Instagram, "Hey, doing reshoots for this movie that he's putting out." Like he did reshoots.
Oh well,
for Jumanji.
Sure. They
Jumanji came out, a great movie.
Yeah, I mean they happen for a number of reasons, for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I still think it's going to be good in the end.
But the trailer was awesome because, you know, they threw up the X for X-Force. So, you know, X-Force is going to be in this movie. It's kind of curious about what characters are going to be in X-Force. I don't recognize any of these characters, and I got to really dive deep and see. I just saw the trailer the other day, so I haven't had a chance to dive deep because, like, Terry Crews, I have no idea what character he's playing.
Right.
But Terry Crews, not a comedian, but he does play. He has great comedic chops, right? He's funny.
Yeah, I would call him a comedic actor for sure. I think so.
He is great. You know what? I would have loved to see Terry. As a side note, I would have loved to see Terry Crews in The Office.
In the Office?
Yeah, he'd have been awesome in The Office, right? I mean, maybe not as a regular, but as like a guest star.
Mm-hmm. Oh, most definitely.
Awesome in The Office.
Well. Do you remember that commercial he was in, right?
Which one?
It was he was like Terry Crews, office linebacker, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it was him just working in an office, but he was like so like drilled into football that someone would be walking by with like a stack of TPS reports and he'd smack it down and he's like, "What you gonna do?" And it's like you didn't wash out your coffee mug, like just getting up in people's faces. Oh my god!
I would. Oh, there was talks. I heard rumors that they're trying to bring back The Office. So I would love to see Terry Crews play in The Office, even if it's just a special. That would be awesome.
Oh, he'd be great.
So, all right, let's get into a segment that we introduced early in the year. Games that are coming out next month. So, if you listen to this, these are all the games that I think I picked that are pretty interesting that are coming out next month. Not a lot of games. Actually, we don't have a lot of big title games coming out in April, but let's just get into a handful of them. Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, coming out for PS4 April 17th.
Yeah, we talked about this, I want to say last week or the week before. They kind of leaked the demo, and the demo had the full game code on it.
Which was totally idiotic. I mean,
it was hack right away, and people got.
So they basically put the game on. They put the game out with like a barrier, right?
Sure. You can only do the one demo, and that's it. And people found a way around.
You can only get to a certain spot, and then people found a way around the barrier to play the full game. If you're gonna put out a demo, just put out a splice of the game, not the whole game. Hackers can get around barriers. I'm sorry.
So I mean, people got a chance to play the full game for only a brief moment. They put out a patch to fix it and whatever, but actually no, they took it off. I think is what.
No, they took it off. You're right, they took it off. Yeah. All right, the biggest game coming out next month, God of War, God of War 4, for PS4 coming out April 20th.
Yep.
Did you pre-ordered it, right?
Oh yeah. I got the special edition and all that.
You got the special edition. Me too.
I have to. Kratos is my boy. It's gonna be great. I'm very excited.
If you never played God of War, you should go to GameSpot. They have a thing, and IGN actually just released one too, I believe. Sort of like God of War, the story of God of War in 7 minutes.
There you go.
They go through all the games, the PSP games, the original PlayStation 2, and the PlayStation 3 games.
Do they?
Awesome! I got caught up on it myself. I haven't beaten all the God of War.
Do they actually explain how he has this new kid now?
Well,
he
that's
killed his
God
family
of War
in the first
4,
one.
So who knows what happens in God of War 4?
I mean, I guess he's got a new wife and like a new family now.
Spoilers, come on.
Maybe. Oh, come on.
We talked about the gameplay last week.
If you haven't played the first God of War by now, it's over 14 years old. Come on.
Well, first of all, let me get your thoughts on this, because people, we talked about this before we were recording a couple of weeks ago about games, certain games in the series just like changing up completely, right?
Right.
Like Resident Evil 6 is the highest Resident Evil, the top selling Resident Evil game of all time. However, because it's more like a shooter instead of survival horror.
Yeah.
And people say, well, that's not a Resident Evil game. It's not a survival horror game. Well, you know what? The new God of War game isn't a God of War game because it's not a hack and slash like the other God of War games. Okay? So
it's more of an
RPG. It reminded me more of Horizon.
Well, I mean, it's got RPG elements and whatnot, but I think that's more of an evolution of the series than a complete revolution, or
every series needs to evolve, because if God of War, if Resident Evil 4 is a far cry from Resident Evil 1, right? But people loved it. People praised it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it had a lot more modern elements into it. It kind of threw the tank controls out, and it was like more of an over-the-shoulder thing. You know, there was like the kind of contextual actions where if you're up against a window, you hit A, he'll jump out the window, right? Like small stuff like that made the game great, but it was still a survival horror game, you know? Like they fixed all the problems. Because the first one had a ton of problems. You know, I don't care what anybody says about that game. It's good, but it had a ton of problems.
Listen, I'm okay with a series taking risk and doing something different. Again, Resident Evil 6, and I think I said this before, the highest selling Resident Evil game. I bought that game, right? And I wasn't even into gaming at that time, and I bought that game because I was like, "Oh, it's a shooter,
do you like it?
Right?
Is it good?
So,
is it actually good?
To me, it's good. To a purist who says Resident Evil games should only be survival horror, probably not.
Well, I mean,
I even bought
Resident
Resident Evil 5 and 6, and I wasn't really gaming that much back then.
Right. Well,
but I was like,
oh
wow, zombies in Africa. You know? I was like, I'm buying Resident Evil 5.
I mean, 5 was good, but I still think 4 was better. You know, 4 honestly I think was probably the pinnacle of the series. 4 was perfect. You know. But I don't know. Like
I went back and tried to play 4. Not my jam. 5 and 6 were great because they were more shooter-like.
Well, see, you don't like the whole kind of like stealth and
I don't like stealth. I don't want to have to hide. I want to go in guns blazing, and those games were more my jam. And when when you think of Resident Evil, right? What do you think of? Do you think of 4 and 7 and 1? Correct.
Well, I mean, it birthed the survival horror genre, so yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
When I think of Resident Evil. Yeah, I think of Resident Evil 1 because I got it when I was a kid, when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
But I think more so of Resident Evil 5 and 6. I think of the evolution of Resident Evil into sort of like a horror shooter game than a horror survival game.
Yeah. I think it went a little too far, and you know, like which is why they did the 180 with 7 to make it more like the first one to the fourth one. You know?
Well, let's see what Resident Evil 8. Let's see how that comes out. Let's see what they make that one.
I mean, like, I think what you're trying to say is that they can't make 7 over again and expect to make a ton of money, right? It has to be a happy medium
of sort of 6 and 7.
It has to innovate. Yeah. It has to be something new, you know.
But I mean, even with 7, they came out with the DLC that brings it more like a shooter. Right.
Yeah. They have that. They have the extra mode you can play as Chris. I think is the jam, which I haven't gotten to yet. I really need to play that.
All right, let's get back to games in April. Also coming out April 20th, Nintendo Labo, the Variety Kit and the Robot Kit coming out for the Switch.
It's gonna be a big day. It'll be a big day.
Now, are you buying this? Are you gonna buy the Labo products, the cardboard, the overpriced cardboard?
Well, it's funny. Well, we talked about this when we heard about the Labo stuff. Whenever they announced it, you know, maybe like last month or the month before, and I think we kind of both said it wasn't our jam. So
if I had any kids, if I had a son and daughter, I would have pre-ordered this because this would have been a great thing for us to do together.
That's a completely different story. You know, it's meant for kids. You know, and it's basically like It's basically the new Rob the Robot, right? It's trying to get kids interested in your system, right? And Rob the Robot was designed exactly to do that, right?
Well, Rob the Robot was, and if you don't know who Rob the Robot is, definitely check out Gaming Historian.
Oh yeah, you put up that new video
on YouTube. Yeah. He put up a thing about Rob the Robot, and
a great history.
Check out Rated G for Gamers Instagram because I recently purchased Rob the Robot. I got him back in the collection because I had him when I was a kid.
Yeah, you
did. Rob the Robot was sort of a Trojan horse.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Essentially.
And it was. I mean, it was at a time when the gaming industry was down in the dumps, and Nintendo, basically the long and the short of it, Nintendo made a very strategic move to not call their system a video game. That's why it's the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Or look like a video game. So you couldn't load the game on top. It looked like a VCR.
And there was that too, to appeal to like the Western audiences and make it less video game like, and then Rob the Robot, because kids love robots. Kids love toys.
Robot. That was the robot craze.
Yeah,
craze,
and it was.
right?
I mean, it was trash. Everybody bought it for Rob the Robot. Nobody actually used Rob the Robot.
There were only 2 games made for Rob the Robot.
I know. And then it just, like, that was it. You can play Gyromite or you can play Stack Up. And Gyromite, I think, came with the system. Stack Up was extra.
You know how much Stack Up is like $100 right now.
I bet, because nobody bought it.
Stack Up is expensive. Yeah, I was going to buy it too.
It's a black box Nintendo game, but I mean, I think this is the same jam. You know, get kids interested in kind of learning and whatever, and building and crafts, and also, hey, look, it's also a game system. You know,
well, you can, and they made programs to where you can learn how to program and make your own games.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can program and make, when the Joy-Con does this, when the cardboard is like this and you push a button, the Joy-Con signals that this is, a key for a command, right? So they make it easy for kids who want to program. So, again, the reason why they're doing this, and I think we talked about it a few weeks ago, was, the Switch was sort of marketed to the young adult, right? And they're trying to, Nintendo is a toy company at heart, and they're still trying to appeal to that younger audience because they've always tried to appeal to that younger audience,
right?
Except for the Switch. The Switch was something different where they tried to appeal to the more mature audience that grew up that was the kids back in the day that grew up with their systems, and I love Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
So, and speaking of Switch, the last game on my list, short list, not that many games coming out in April. Well, games I figured I was really interested in. April 24th, South Park, The Fractured Butthole, coming out in the Switch. Now, I never thought I would say butthole and Switch in the same sentence.
Well, there you go. You just did twice, by the way.
I never thought I would say butthole and Switch and Nintendo in the same sentence. I said it 3 times.
Needless to say, it's going to be a pretty good April. Good things are on the horizon.
Well,
God of War, of course.
Well, we'll see if South Park actually runs well on the Switch.
Jesus. Have hope. Have hope, young Jedi.
I have hope. All right. As we always try to start the show and epically fail, Dave, what have you been playing?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. I finally started playing Fortnite on the PC.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's free. I'm surprised you haven't downloaded it and tried to play.
I can play it on mobile now.
You can play it on mobile. You can play it on Xbox. Play it on PS4. Play it on PC. Can't play it on Switch yet.
It's probably going to be. It's probably going to be at E3.
What's that?
Probably going to be at E3.
Oh, I hope so. It's actually really fun, and they have their.
Did you play with Drake?
No, I didn't play with Drake on Fortnite.
Okay. All right. I'm just making sure.
I didn't play with Drake. I didn't play with Ninja. No, I played with a bunch of 11-year-olds, to be honest.
How did you know they were 11?
Because everyone has a mic, and they all start like screaming right away. I'm like, oh God, I can't. I just want to shoot some people. I just want to shoot some people in a safe environment and have a fun time. But they had recently.
That's an oxymoron. I want to shoot people in a safe environment.
You know what I mean. I'm not trying to stir the pot here. But yeah, like they recently and recently, as in a couple months ago, I guess they added in like the battle royale mode to compete with PUBG. Funny enough,
and they're not competing with PUBG. They're pummeling PUBG. Right.
Well, because I mean, it's a much better coded game. It doesn't have the bugs that PUBG has.
And I still haven't played PUBG, and I have it for Xbox One.
Yeah, try it out. PUBG's fun, but definitely Fortnite I think is a little more polished. And I like the art style a little better. It's a little bit more cartoony and less realistic. So there's that. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I'm gonna definitely put some time into it. There are some paywalls in there, obviously. Because the game.
Well, if the game is free.
Well, it is, but I mean, it needs to be financed in a way. So
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's free, so that's why it has paywalls.
Oh yeah. But I mean, it's like you see, like right away, like you get unlockables that you can't unlock unless you like pay a certain amount of money. So I don't know if there's a way to like grind it out where you can get like your battle card or whatever it is, and then you can use your like points that you've grinded as opposed to paying like whatever, you know. So we'll see. But
Okay.
yeah, so Fortnite and Enter the Gungeon still, dungeon with a G, of course, which is fantastic for the Switch. Digital only, sadly, so far. I haven't seen a physical for it, and I'm just about done with Secret of Mana. So there you go.
Oh, it's about time.
Just about done. Listen, you don't play RPGs. You don't understand how long these are. And this isn't even that long of an RPG. It's only like a 20, 30-hour game.
Listen, I played that Mario RPG and still never beat it. Okay?
You played
I put
one. Yeah,
hours
you
into that
played
game.
one RPG.
I know
and
it takes
you couldn't beat
forever.
it. Yeah. So
I know it takes forever.
yeah. So that's about it. That's about it for me. What about you?
I finally beat Rhyme
Hey,
for PS4.
Round of applause.
I got to say the ending. If you haven't played Rhyme, and I won't spoil it for you because I think you should play Rhyme.
Please don't.
And the puzzles aren't that hard to solve.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe one time I looked up how to get out of a certain situation because I was just like, I'm confused. But other than that, it took me about 3-4 hours around that time to beat the game in its entirely.
Wow. And it took you like...
say 4 hours. Say 4 hours.
Wow,
It was about 4 hours.
Okay.
Because I was trying to get as many collectibles as I can.
Right.
Didn't find it all because I didn't platinum the game, obviously.
Right.
The ending threw me for a curve. Very emotional ending. Didn't hit me as hard as I know they would like. And when you finally see the ending, you'll know like they're really trying to get you to be really emotional about this. I think if I would have had a little bit more, if they would have added a little bit more during the game, little seeds, plant, and maybe I didn't, because I didn't get all the collectibles. Maybe I didn't get all their seeds. Maybe they did put seeds in there referring to the end, which threw me for a curve. But when I got to the end, I did get emotional when I found out who I really was and what happened.
Right.
But I was just like, I wasn't as emotional as I thought they wanted me to be. I've been playing also, still playing Kirby Star Allies.
Right. Should be done with that game pretty soon, I think.
Maybe, again, like I don't power up my weapons or anything in games, stuff like that. So, especially when a game is easy and doesn't have that many difficulty. So this game, I usually don't have a lot of friends with me, right? Because you can have 3 allies. So it's the 4 of you. So I usually keep like 1 maybe. And I made it to a boss right now in the 3rd level. I don't know if this is the last level, maybe not. The 3rd world, I should say, not the level, 3rd world. And the boss, I killed the boss twice and he keeps coming back. So I don't know how many times I have to fucking kill him.
Yeah.
That drove me nuts. I was like, how many times I can kill this guy?
He's got 29 different forms. Ugh.
I was like, maybe I need to have 4 friends for this, 4 allies. 3 allies, I should say.
Right.
So I tried to kill him by myself, and then I added 1 friend, and it's like I kept dying. So maybe I need to add a couple of allies. And last, I've still been playing L.A. Noire on the Switch. I take it by a case-by-case basis, and I mean that literally. I take a case, I solve it,
is a case,
and then I put it down. And I took your advice. I've been taking the Switch with me. And as a side note, I know I didn't put this in the notes, but I have a huge game of grief with the Switch.
Oh,
I love the Switch. I really do love the Switch, but I have a huge game of grief. When I take it on the go, I need to carry 2 freaking headphones with me. I have my wireless headphones, my wireless Beats by Dre, so I can listen to music on my phone. And I need to keep regular headphones so I can plug into the Switch. So I can play L.A. Noire on the go because it's a game you need to actually listen and pay attention to.
Oh, there is a lot of audio clues.
Yeah. So why doesn't the Switch have Bluetooth? This does make sense. The Switch came out in 2017. Everything has Bluetooth.
I don't know.
My refrigerator has Bluetooth.
Well, it's interesting too. It's like how do the actual Joy-Cons hook up? Right? What's the frequency?
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe
there has to be.
I'm not a tech guy. Maybe there was something with too many frequencies going to this. I don't know.
It's just it's a definite oversight. You know, it doesn't bother me because I'm wired all the way. Like I don't like doing the wireless thing, so I'm okay with it. But I hear what you're saying.
I already have wireless headphones.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. I don't know. You could always get a Bluetooth transmitter, I think, that would hook into your headphone
something
jack.
else I need to not lose.
Listen. Do you want to carry around two headphones? Or you want to carry around a little like nub that like gives you Bluetooth?
It's annoying. I'm sorry. It's annoying.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to help you out here.
So, you get any good pickups? Let's go on to something else. I'm frustrated with the Switch when it comes to that.
Yeah, I definitely got some good pickups.
What'd you pick up?
Some guy was sleeping at the flea market, and he had a bunch of 3DS games for $5 a pop, right? You know, and you're probably thinking like, it's gonna be like, you know, Imagine Party Babies and you know, Barbie Pet and Pony or whatever, right?
Those are all premium games for the 3DS.
Yeah, but not every game you own is premium, right?
Barbie Pet and Pony is a premium game.
Right. Listen. Don't be upset that you paid $10 for it. No. Pokemon X and Y. Pokemon X and Y for 3DS, $5 a pop. Oh, wow. They're so happy. And Mario and Luigi Dream Team, $5 a pop. You know, he had a couple other 3DS games, but they were really the $5 games. So I was like, I don't want those. But I'll take these three. And he was happy to sell them. I was like, oh, it's fantastic. So nice. I got those. You'll be very happy about this. I picked up a copy of Juiced 2.
Woo!
That's right.
Juice game.
And it came with a free ticket.
I got the ticket too.
You did?
We can both go see Juice. There
we go. No, it is not the movie.
About 15 years too late.
Yeah, right. No, it's some weird like hot import nights, like car show or whatever. It expired in 2008, sadly. So I'm like, what am I going to do with
10
this?
years too late.
Yeah, right.
Can we go back in time and give ourselves 10 years ago? Because, you know, we were still good friends. We worked on another website, actually. Give ourselves the Juice ticket so we could go see Juiced.
Yeah, right. Travel out to wherever it is. I think it was out in like California or whatever too. So we would have had to travel out there. Would have been a little bit of a thing. But yeah, I got a ATV Off-Road Fury 3. That now completes my ATV Off-Road trilogy. So I'm very happy about that. Dance Central for the 360. And
premium game.
Yeah.
Premium game.
No. Dance Central is solid. That's a solid game.
I want to see you play it.
I have played it.
I'm gonna post it on Instagram. I want to see you play it.
Well, you're gonna have to let me borrow your adapter for the Kinect. It's the only way I can play.
I got the 360. I got the 360 Connect.
It's not the. I mean, you can do it on the Xbox One too, I think.
Oh, really? I didn't know. Okay.
I think so. Regardless, and the final pickup, which was actually very funny. I went to GameStop over in like Union Square and whatnot, and all of the GameStops, none of them are different. They always have the PC gaming shelf, and it's like a quarter shelf, right? They almost have nothing on there, but whatever they do have on there is always like on clearance with like 29 stickers, because like nobody buys physical PC games anymore, which is very sad. So I saw the expansion for Civilization Beyond Earth for 97 cents. I said, "Yep, I'm gonna take this."
Just on principle alone, I would have bought that too.
Right?
97 cents.
It's just like, come on, how could somebody not buy that? You know, I would have bought it for much more than that, honestly. Like, you know, it's still a really good deal. I was like, I'm gonna take this for $1.
Nice.
Done.
So
yeah.
All right. So I know I usually have huge pickups. Not a lot of pickups this week.
Mm-hmm.
I got Sea of Thieves, Xbox One.
Any good?
I don't know. You know why? Because I was shut out.
Oh, well, there you go.
They had some issues with the game.
They've been having some issues.
And they pretty much shut everybody out, newcomers to the game.
Right.
So I have to wait. I spent $60 to wait.
I know. It's kind of sad.
No idea. I made my pirate, and that was about it.
It's sad because that's an Xbox exclusive, right? And it looks super cool. Everyone's really excited about it, and they're having all these problems. Just doesn't bode well.
I tried to play it once, and I never went back because it was like, you know what? Come back later because they pretty much shut down anybody new. I got Capcom versus SNK, the first one for Dreamcast.
Nice.
I have the second one, I think, for the Xbox. Huge Capcom fighting fan, and I know my best friend. He's a big fighting fan, a fighting game fan. His goal is to collect every fighting game ever made.
Oh my god!
So when I told him I got this, he was like super excited because he's like, I'm gonna come over and play.
It's solid, yeah. Capcom SNK was good. 1 and 2, yeah.
Yeah. I went to Toys R Us. R.I.P. They're liquidating.
Well, they're almost gone. Yeah.
Well, right now, if you're looking to get deals at Toys R Us, not a lot of deals. It's only 10% as of this recording. I think every week they'll probably go down by another 10. So like this week is 10%, next week will probably be 20%, and so on until every store is cleaned out. There were a lot of people there. You would think it was Black Friday, right? It was only 10%, and all the wrestling action figures were gone. All the games still there. Because 10% is not enough to buy the games. But I did pick up something. I picked up Axiom Verge on the Switch. I loved Axiom Verge. I literally am like 2% away from getting the whole map. So there's like some little odd piece that I never cleared that I have no idea where it is. That it's the only way I haven't 100%ed that game.
Oh, you have that last 1%.
Yeah, I've been 2%. There. So it's one piece because every piece is 2%.
I've been there.
So it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. I'm not gonna do it. I have the special edition for the Vita.
Right.
And this game is still like $40 on Amazon, and Toys R Us had it for $30, so then I got 10% off. So I got it for $26. So it was pretty awesome.
Good deal.
I got both F-Zero games for the GBA, F-Zero GP Legend and Maximum Velocity.
Nice.
I also picked up Velocity 2X for the Vita. The Vita version does not come with the soundtrack; only the PS4 version does. Okay. But this is sort of I don't know if this will be the last game like officially released for the Vita. But I picked up the Vita version. I don't need the soundtrack. I don't need the soundtrack. I picked up the Velocity 2X, and I got the Detective Pikachu for 3DS.
Oh yeah. I do want to know how that plays.
I will be popping that bad boy in, and one of my many 3DSs.
God, it's
and
just
playing it. Maybe I'll pick up the Pikachu one.
The whole thing is just so ridiculous, and now they're making the movie,
and it works.
Sure, but now they're doing the movie. Like we talked about, Ryan Reynolds is going to be playing Detective Pikachu in the movie, which is going to be hilarious.
I just want to see Deadpool play Pikachu.
Well, there you go. Your wish has been granted.
Well, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll get into the top 10 gaming news of last week.
And in our convo of the week, we're going to run down what Smash characters we would like to see in Smash 5.
And we're back. All right, let's get into the top 10 gaming news of last week. So Atari was in the news. We talked about it last week. Atari's at GDC, Game Developers Conference.
They were at GDC, yeah.
Well, they were at GDC. As of this recording, okay, they were at GDC. And as of you listening to this recording, they were at GDC. So basically, I was excited. You were less excited. I wanted to hear more about the Atari Box because we knew nothing of it, right? We still sort of know nothing, but we know a little bit more than we did yesterday.
Hence why I wasn't that excited about it. And
I'll tell you why. I tell you what I thought I was going to hear, but let's get into what we actually did hear. They changed the official name. It's no longer called the Atari Box, which I got to say I wasn't mad about. Like I wasn't mad at it being called the Atari Box. I thought that was pretty cool. I'm probably the only one, and that's okay. I'm minority. In that instance, but they changed the name. The system will officially be called the Atari VCS, which is confusing for older listeners because the original Atari 2600 was called the Atari VCS.
Right.
Before they changed it to Atari 2600.
Right. I mean, they're trying to give it the throwback name and the whatever and get the nostalgia kick going, but I mean, the box is still the box. Has the same. The coolest thing about it, I think, it's still like the form factor of it, right? It's got like the wood grain and it's got the little black lines. We found out what the controller is going to look like. It
is just a black Xbox One controller.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, it's a worse 360 controller, and you can also plug in a 21st century old school Atari joystick, right? Single button style thing, which would lead me to believe that you can play old school Atari games on there. But
well, I mean of course.
Well, we don't know. But we don't know which ones are going to be available because there's no cartridge slot.
Well, we did talk about this before we recorded, and one thing I didn't bring up that I just noticed, and I got to say, it kind of makes no sense. If this is for the home, like if this is for the entertainment system, right, or this is for my computer desk, why do I have to plug? Because these don't look like they're wireless, by the way. Well, the joystick doesn't look wireless. You have to. You think it's wireless? Because I have to plug it in the back of the system instead of the front. So what if I'm still in the middle of a game? I'm playing a game, and let's just say the controller and the original modern Atari joystick is dying.
Right.
I gotta have. It looks like it's USB.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. USB-C, I think.
USB-C to regular USB. Right. I have to plug it in the back, so I have to have a really super long wire because I'm plugging it in the back of the system.
Yeah.
Instead of the front. There are no front-facing USB ports.
I mean, again, that's like a throwback because the 2600 had the ports in the back for whatever reason. I guess it was just easier to wire them up that way, or they didn't really think that it'd be that big of an issue, but it was. And with this new system, it will be. So, I'm assuming what you'd have to do is just have those wires hanging out the front and just have them at the ready. So you don't have to go like fumbling behind the thing and plugging in the other end of the USB cord because nobody wants to do that.
Well, where's the knob? We had the knob. They didn't have a. I mean, the original Atari had a knob too with the joystick, so they didn't have a modern knob to go with it to play Pong.
Right. For that one game. Actually, no, I think it was a couple games that used it. Yeah, I mean, really, they should have done that, like an updated paddle wheel or whatever. So regardless,
so basically, this is going to be an overgrown Steam machine / Atari Ouya.
At best,
everything it's running Linux. Don't know why it's going to run Linux. Piracy is going to be rampant on this thing. It's going to be between $250 to $300. You pre-order in April. And I still don't know what game's going to be able to play. Why am I buying this thing? Right? Like games, like the hardware, how powerful your hardware is sort of for the developer, right? Because the developer can say, "Oh, this is a really powerful machine, right? This is the Xbox One. I can make games for the Xbox One, right? Because now I can make these great games that are going to look great on your 4K TV." I know what the hardware can do, right? Because we've seen specs of what the hardware would be. That's nothing new. That's nothing different. They haven't showed anything different. We don't know what the games are going to be. What are the games? Because I can easily just buy a Steam machine. Why am I buying the Atari Steam machine?
Right. And like the really scary thing is, they haven't shown any games. They haven't showed any exclusive games, right? So there's no reason to buy this over a Switch or just playing games in your PC or your Xbox or your 3DS or any other of the million of devices that you can probably play this lineup of games on, right? you know, even if they have the full Atari back catalog, right? All of the 2,600 games on there, right? Only a handful of them are good. And most of them you can get on the compilation discs that they made for everything. So I don't know. I really don't see who this is for. And I don't know. They're not going to, I don't think they're going to have a big audience.
I'm not going to pre-order until I know what games I can buy.
Yeah, okay. I mean, hopefully you'll know by E3, because I don't think they set a launch date, right?
No, I haven't seen any launch date. I just know you could pre-order. Pre-order date will be announced in April.
Right.
So this could be you could pre-order probably in the fall for all we know.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll keep an eye on that and let you guys know. I'm not hopeful for that thing to be anything worthwhile.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into EA. We've beat up Star Wars Battlefront 2 for months.
Everybody beat up that game.
Everyone has. And I joined the cause. I fought the good fight because I was with you guys. I stood with everyone. Microtransactions, you suck. Okay?
Is there a butt here?
That was not going to affect me in any way because I was going to play 0 of the multiplayer. I was only buying this for the single player campaign, but I stood arm in arm with my fellow gamers, say this is wrong. You cannot pay to win.
Mm-hmm.
And we won. And it looks like we won because I'm sure Disney, called the EA and was like, hey, look, not a good look. You need to chill out. Okay. We got Star Wars movie coming out. You need to chill. Okay, it's not a good look not a good look for us. But it looks like we won because Star Wars Battlefront 2 unlocks every hero in the new update, overhauling the whole progression system.
Right. So everything is unlocked out the gate. Everything that's available now, we should say, is basically just available.
Yes,
to you.
Unlocked.
Yeah, so you can play any character online you want, and this and that. Any future updates or DLC that comes out, then you'll have to, pay for that stuff if you want new characters and all that stuff. Honestly, like, they did the right thing. This is what they had to do, right? They had to do this because everyone was still very upset. They fumbled the ball and this and that. What I want to see is forget about Star Wars because the damage is done, right? They put the bandage on or whatever. They stop the bleeding and all that, but the damage is done. There's definitely people they turned away that they're never going to get back. I want to see what they do with their next big release, right? Their next big shooter game or whatever it is. How do they handle the microtransactions on that, right? Because that'll really prove whether they learned their lesson or not, right? That you can't gouge the consumer like that in such a heinous way that it's gonna end up blowing up in your face. They have to be very careful, I think.
I gotta say, we won. I was not gonna pay $60 for the game and give them money and support them in their play to win ridiculous motto.
Well, you bought it. You bought a copy.
But I bought a copy as of an hour before we recorded for $23.
Sure.
Because I just care about the story.
Sure.
That's all I care about.
Whatever little story they have.
Whatever little story they have. And when I get it, I'm going to beat it.
Apparently it's not much. You should be able to beat it. It's pretty quick in here.
I just care about the single player component. And you know what? It's at a good price for me, under $30. We won. We get all the unlockables. Well, for people who want to play multiplayer, because I am not one of them. I caved in. I bought the game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still watching EA and seeing what they do next. That's my thing. Like Star Wars is good. It's multiplayer's now been evened out, which is nice. But we'll see.
All right, let's get into our lead story. Nintendo Switch Nindies came out on Tuesday as of the last show. It wasn't that big. It was only about 10 minutes long. I saw a lot of people online that were, hating on the event, the Nindies showcase. And I got to say, the Switch is so big right now that whenever something comes out for the Switch, everyone is thinking, we're going to get the next Metroid game. All right. Like everyone's looking for that next big thing. And this is the Nindies showcase. This is for the independent. This is the indie games, and it's only 10 minutes long. Is how many games they're going to showcase?
Right. You're gonna get a lot of ports, which is known. You're probably gonna get some new indie games that are coming cross-platform. You know, and that's what it should be. You know, 10 to like 15 games. Here's what's coming out. You know.
So we got Market of Ninja. That's coming to the Switch.
That's an old.
Market of Ninja remastered. Sorry,
that's an old like 360 game.
Yeah, this game's been out for a while, since like 2011, right?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah. It's it's been around for a bit. It's solid. It's like kind of cool because it's like it's 2D, and you play as a ninja, which Dan's probably throwing his hands up. I don't want to do stealth, right? But you can do stealth, or you can do the run and gun.
Oh well, then I'm gonna do the if there's an option for stealth or running gun, I'm gonna pick the running gun. Yeah. So they, it's like kind of cool. There's multiple ways to do each puzzle. It's pretty cool. I guess it's gonna have enhanced visuals now, maybe some more levels and whatnot. Which, I'm down. They also showed another game that I'm pretty stoked for, and I know my friend Brian, big fighting game guy, he would be if this was actually a physical release, he would buy the Switch just for this game if it was exclusive to the Switch. I don't know if it's exclusive to the Switch, but it's coming out. Fantasy Strike. Yeah, Nintendo sort of said it's sort of like a strategy fighter game. With like button mashing, which doesn't make any sense, because how can it be a strategy fighting game with button mashing, right?
Right. That seems a little contradictory. I don't know.
The biggest difference is you do have weapons in this game, right? And you have to be sort of use strange and interesting weapons, as they say.
Right.
I'm a big fighting game fan, even though I'll never be an Evo champion.
Yeah. Well, me neither. Me neither.
I really dig the art style of this game. I would buy this game. Even I don't know if this is going to be a physical release. I think it's just going to be digital. But I'm looking forward to buying this game.
Yeah.
The game came out last September on Steam, or early access on Steam, right? But I'm going to play it on Switch.
Yeah.
So another game wasn't really. Not my jam, not really into, but it was sort of just shapes and beats.
Emphasis on jam, by the way.
Huh?
I said emphasis on jam, right?
The emphasis on jam, not my jam.
Right.
Not my jam, not my thing. Sort of like a rhythm game with shapes and stuff. You
gotta kind of dodge through the shapes and whatever, which probably pulsate to the beat of the music, I think. We'll see. We'll see when it comes out.
Not my thing. So a game that is more up my alley is Garage.
Yeah, this is a little brutal. This is a little
it's a mature game for the Switch, right? It's not. It's definitely not for the kids. Garage is sort of like a bloody top-down shooter, like Hotline Miami style. You play this character called Butch, as he's an ex-drug dealer who finds himself in an underground parking garage, and he discovers mutants and the undead, and he has to escape.
Yeah, it sounds kind of interesting, I gotta say.
So it's top down. It's like Hotline Miami. It's like a darker version of Hotline Miami with the undead. It's like what if The Walking Dead meets Hotline Miami? You would get Garage.
Yeah.
I'm digging that game. Another game that they showcased was Bomb Chicken.
It's exactly what you think. It's a chicken who lays bombs.
It's a chicken who lays bombs.
Right?
When I first saw the game, I thought this was like a Sega Genesis game, right? It makes you think of a Sega Genesis game. That's what it looks like.
Right. It's got like a mascot character in there. It's like a side-scrolling puzzle game. It feels like it should be on the Genesis. It looks cool. It's got a good pixel art style.
You're a chicken that stacks explosives through. to reach heights, and there's nothing
parts
of the level. You just stack. You just launch stacks of explosives. That's
yeah.
Where do people come up with these ideas?
I don't know. But I'm actually kind of very excited for another remaster that's coming out of this. They're making a new. I call it Lumines. Yeah, some people may call it Lumines. I'm not really sure how you're supposed to pronounce it.
It's definitely not Lumines.
It's definitely not Lumines. Well, I'm gonna go with Lumines then. But it's
that's a Dave exclusive. Luminous.
Luminous. Well, how would you say it? I
would just say it is Luminous.
Yeah, well, there you go, Luminous. Yeah. It's a 2-color puzzle game. It's kind of like Tetris, but you have to make like squares. So every time you make a square, you get a chain, and then everything around the square in that same color explodes. But like the coolest thing about it is that you control. I don't want to say control, but you help mix the music while you end up playing, right? So like every time you rotate the piece, it makes like it makes a noise in the song or whatever. Every time you like shift it to the left or shift it to the right, it makes a noise. Every time you make like a combo, it makes a new noise in the song, and it kind of mixes it in like real time. It's pretty cool. I'm hyped that they're doing a remaster version, and they're getting all the original music in there, right? Because like the coolest thing about the game is that they actually took like licensed music, right? So like the Black Eyed Peas are in there, and like I think Fatboy Slim has a song in there, and No Doubt has a song in there, and whatever else. Like they took like a decent amount of like real world songs that were like from that time, and like put them in the game too as mixable tracks. It's pretty solid.
Well, I have the game for the PSP.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the backlog. Haven't played the original.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But those type of games aren't my jam. Not really into those type of games.
No, the puzzle games, not so much.
Not so much those puzzle rhythm type games. Not my thing. But you know what is my thing? Lightfall. That got announced at the Nindies event. Mm-hmm. It's more like a Super Meat Boy type of game, right? Like it's a side scroller. And you go fast. This is for the speedrunners.
I was definitely getting some Celeste vibes off it for sure.
So Celeste, Super Meat Boy, and like you jump in the air and you can make four box platforms, right? Mm-hmm. Only 4 while you're in the air. So you have to, while you're jumping, you got to figure out I should make a box here to jump here and so on. So get to the next highest level. Mm-hmm. Speedrunners are going to go crazy for this game when they figure out sort of, you know, what they need to do for each level to get past it in the fastest way possible.
Right.
So this is a game that I was really like, when I saw it, I was like, wow, this is like awesome. Like I want to play this game.
Yeah. You know, visuals are on point. I'm sure the soundtrack's going to be great too, you know.
A game that everyone knows, Banner Saga, RPG, not my thing, not a big RPG fan. They announced Banner Saga 3 coming out in the summer. For the Switch,
which is going to be brand new, so it'll be cross-platform, I think.
And I know Dave doesn't want ports; he wants brand new games.
Yeah,
so
you know,
we got a brand new game on the Switch, Banner Saga 3. However, if you haven't played 1 and 2, 1 and 2 is coming soon.
Right. You know about the whole lawsuit that Banner Saga had?
No, they had a loss. What? Or who?
So there you go. Here you go, and drop a little knowledge on you. So the company, I guess it's King Games, who runs Candy Crush, tried to sue the Banner Saga company because they were trying to get the rights for the word saga.
No, you serious? Are you serious?
Yep, 100%. Obviously, they lost because there's now Banner Saga 3 coming out. There is no name change. Thankfully, yes, the word saga. Mm-hmm.
Are they that like petty that? Like no one else can come up with the word saga.
Yes, they are. They're like Metallica when they're like trying to copyright riffs, you know, or chord progressions. It's like you can't. That's the basis of music. Like you can't do that, you know. You can't just copyright a word. Ugh, yeah, it was ridiculous. It was awful.
So and I saved the best for last because this game. You were really excited about it. Like I think this is the first game we both brought out after we saw the Nindies, and it's coming out in the summer. The Messenger.
Yeah, the messenger is legit. It's basically for anyone who loves Ninja Gaiden. Here's a new Ninja Gaiden game. This is essentially Ninja Gaiden 4.
You were a Gaiden household?
Yeah, I was a Gaiden household. Why?
I
you
was
a Shinobi?
I was a Gaiden household.
Oh, Gaiden.
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden.
Ninja Gaiden. Gaiden. You're actually right. It should be Gaiden, but I would call it Gaiden.
I was a Ninja Gaiden. I was a Ninja Gaiden household.
Well, you're far better with your pronunciations than I am. I am one of those. I'm one of those redneck Americans that say Gaiden.
Stop it! Oh, stop it! But this is the Shovel Knight of 2018.
Yeah. You know, super legit 8-bit old school graphics.
Because you can sort of jump back and forth from like 8-bit and 16-bit, right? And like you can see like a tree in 8-bit, and then when you jump to 16-bit, which is sort of like the futuristic part, in the 16-bit, the tree's gone.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's a crazy little mechanic, you know. They really didn't even need to do that inside the game. I'm sure it's going to be like an amazing thing, but I mean, the game looks great as it is in 8-bit, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, it's sort of like playing a video game, playing an NES game, and jumping between NES style and SNES. Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It has like, and it also has like hidden levels and a story arc, right, to discover in the game. So I am all for this game. I'm looking forward to this game. Like that was the game of the show for me. To be honest with you. All right, let's go. Let's stick with Nintendo. We already we got the Nindies. We didn't get any, you know, we didn't get a new Metroid Prime 4 or anything. Like we didn't get anything or a Pokemon peak, a Pokemon game or anything like that. But they did say at E3 that Super Smash Brothers, the new Super Smash Brothers that was announced last week, 2 weeks ago, is Splatoon 2 will be the headline tournaments for E3. So they're going to have tournaments for the new Smash Brothers game and Splatoon 2.
All right. That bodes really well. This game is coming out this year. This game is practically done. I think you were saying it before the show. Like if they're going to have a tournament,
if it's playable,
yeah,
if it's playable at E3 in tournament form, it is done. This game is done. Well, practically done. I'm sure there are a lot of tweaks and stuff like that they have to get through.
The only thing I think they would leave out of it maybe is that there's some characters who are not ready for prime time yet, or if there's some characters they want to wait to reveal, maybe they'll kind of keep them out of the lineup maybe. But you know, I would say it's pretty much ready to go gold, right? It's got to be
almost.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Yeah.
It's going to be playable.
Yeah.
That was the big news. Like everyone was like, wait, this is going to be playable at E3. That means I think I was correct that this is launching with the online service in September, or maybe even before that.
I think you may be
right.
right.
Direct before E3 and say this is coming in the summer. Right. So like, I am super like jazzed for that.
Yeah, seriously.
You know what would make me even happier that Super Smash Bros. Is coming out? If Nintendo would actually release a Nintendo-made Joy-Con with a D-pad. However, since Nintendo's not going to do it, we will get an official Nintendo release from Hori. They're going to release a left Joy-Con with the D-pad on it. That only plays. It only plays when it's connected to the Switch. You cannot take it apart and use it as its own controller.
Oh, interesting. That I did not know.
Yes. So it is not wireless. So it won't have the triggers when you take it off because you can't use it while it's detached from the actual Switch.
Right. Huh. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, Hori makes some really good products. You know, they've been making good products since the Super Nintendo days. So, I am probably going to get myself one of these.
Oh yeah.
You know?
I'm looking forward to this one.
Super cool. Now, were they just making the one side, or are they making a set?
I would. They're probably making like a set. You could probably buy the left Joy-Con by itself, but I'm sure there'll be sets.
Right. Left side, right side. Yeah. Cool.
Well, right now it's coming out in July, and it's selling for $24 US. I'm sure they'll probably have a set. It would make sense if they sold it single by itself and with the set, and the set would probably be like $50.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I'm buying it. I'm buying I'm buying it.
Oh, same.
This is one of those things where I can't tell you how many times I play like a Shovel Knight, and I don't use the left trigger. I don't use the left stick.
Right.
So I need a D-pad. Like for those 2D games, like for the Messenger, I need a D-pad. Like I'd rather play the game docked and use my Pro, my Pro controller.
Mm-hmm.
So something that that everyone's up in arms for, and I don't understand why. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is getting a remaster. Another remaster. We know how much Dave loves remasters. But reportedly, it's only getting a single player only, no multiplayer. And everyone's going crazy over that. And I'm like, why? It's $20. People probably skipped the single player just to play multiplayer when Modern Warfare 2 came out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only $20. If it comes out on the Switch, I'll buy it. If it doesn't, I'm probably not going to buy it because I already own the game.
Well, I mean, sure, so do I. I mean, everybody owns the game. You can't go 5 minutes without stumbling into a Goodwill and not see Modern Warfare 2 hanging around. But I mean, it has the enhanced visuals. I would love to play through the game again with more, 2018 visuals. So I'm pretty excited. I'm hoping for a physical release. Maybe not. If it's just a digital only, like if the price is right and it's digital only, I'll probably pick it up. But I'd like to have a physical if possible.
I don't think they did. They had the remaster from Modern
Warfare. The remaster they had of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare 1 was bundled with the last Call of Duty.
But that came out by itself digitally too afterwards.
Well, it was also it was only digital because I think you got a download code inside that game to get that game. It just kind of came with it as you basically got free DLC to get the Modern Warfare 1 remaster. So it's probably going to be digital again, sadly.
Yeah, so I'm okay with it. If it comes out for the Switch, if they put it out for the Switch, I'll buy it. But I already have that game on 360, so I don't really need to replay. I don't really need to buy it again. Just like Zone of the Enders 2 is getting a remaster coming out in September. I think we talked about this months ago because it was supposed to come out around spring, and now it's getting pushed back to September.
Right. Well, this correct me if I'm wrong, but this was a Kojima game.
This was a Kojima game,
right?
Yes.
And he's not with the company anymore. He doesn't own the rights to it anymore. Konami has the rights, so they can do what they want.
Zone of the Enders, the second runner, Mars. It's gonna have. I think it's gonna have like some new, like a new level or something like that. Some new effects, something along those lines. It's coming out digital only, from what I can tell. It's not. Right. It's coming out for the PS4 and the PSVR and Windows, and it's coming out on Steam also.
See, here's the thing: PlayStation VR with like the giant robot mechs. I'm in. It's got 4K visuals and whatnot. You won't get the 4K playing in VR, but 4K stuff is there. The VR mode is there. I'm in.
I would be in if they had a physical release. I'm probably not going to buy this.
Right.
I gotta be honest. I wasn't excited for it when I first heard about it, when they said it was going to come out in spring.
Right.
I wasn't a big Zone of the Enders fan to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not for everybody, so I'm definitely not going to fault you on that one, but the VR experience is really what's selling me on it this time around. I'll be honest.
You know what game I was really into? Assassin's Creed Origins. So they waited an extra year to put that game out, put a little extra polish on it. I know you warned about it in the beginning, but you sort of warmed up to it over time.
I warmed up to it, yeah.
I loved it out the gate. I still play it. I literally play it like I play LA Noire, sort of mission based, where I complete a mission, I put it down. I'm still into that world. I still love that world, the scope of that world. I'm like a level 16, 17 at this point. The next Assassin's Creed game is not coming out this year. They're going to give it a little bit of time off, as they should. Maybe alternate every other year. Probably Watch Dogs 3 is going to come in its place. But the next Assassin's Creed game is rumored to take place. Well, we talked about it before, where it was rumored to take place in China. But now the latest rumor is that it's going to be in Greece, and it's coming out in 2019.
So I think they're kind of pulling on the lore of Assassin's Creed, because if you remember in Assassin's Creed 2, inside Ezio's house, all the way down in the basement, they had all of the statues of the previous assassins, right?
Yes.
And one of them was ancient Greece. It was an ancient Greece warrior. I forget exactly who they said the name was or whatnot, but like that was there, and there was one from China, which we did see the Assassin's Creed China kind of mini 2D game that came out as like a digital download and all that. So it's not surprising because they were kind of butting up against modern times, which is why I think they went back to Egypt, right? Because they were already in like the early 19th century. They were basically at the 20th century almost, and they're like, oh, well, we got to go back. So we went back. We've now got the first assassin, right, back in ancient Egypt. So this will probably tie in to it, right? Probably right after this story comes the ancient Greece story, maybe, because that's essentially right around the same time.
But I was all psyched for the China, right? Like everyone thought assassin, we're gonna get like sort of like a Chinese assassin, ancient like China.
Yeah, that
was the early rumors back in I think like late 2017.
Yeah, that's right.
For that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still all for that. I kind of, I think maybe keep Greece for the next one in 2021 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I kind of want everyone's been clamoring for China, and the closest we got was in Assassin's Creed Chronicles when they were in China. Right. That was like a side scroller.
Right.
I kind of just want to be in ancient China and see what they can do with that world.
It'll definitely happen. They'll get there. I can almost guarantee it, because they have to mix the formula up, like we were just talking about Resident Evil earlier in the show, right? You can't just keep putting out the same game over and over again, right? A lot of those Assassin's Creed 2 Ezio trilogy games or whatever, they got a little stale, Well,
what if they put out like a survival not a horror game, but like a sort of like a survival assassin game where you're low on ammo and you have obviously like a secret knife or something in your sleeve, and you have to figure out a way to kill people in a stealth way in public.
Wait, that's exactly what Assassin's Creed is. You've just described Assassin's Creed,
but not open world, first person.
Oh, well, right, yeah,
like Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, well, they could certainly mix things up a little bit, And
then you can have it in VR. Assassin's Creed
VR. VR is where you got me. Yeah. VR is the good thing, right? Like, they really need to make an Assassin's Creed VR experience for sure.
Assassin's Creed VR.
Yeah, that would sell like crazy.
So, I'm so lukewarm on this story. I don't want it to be in Greece. I hope it's not in Greece. I kind of really am interested.
Yeah, the game hasn't even come out yet. You got to give it a chance. When it comes out, buy the game.
I would give it a chance if it is in Greece, but I'm hoping the rumors aren't true, and I'm hoping they are testing sort of like ancient Greece, but for the 2021 game when it's all VR.
Right.
Give me ancient China assassin.
Damn, you really just want to travel across that Great Wall.
I do. Would that be like a great
you're not wrong.
Game?
You're not wrong.
How do you get across the Great Wall?
You're not wrong. Yeah. I know. Got to like dash across the top and climb on the sides and pick off the guards. Sure. That'd be incredible. Incredible. There'd be like horse riding. There'd be samurai blades. It'd be crazy.
All right, let's get a little serious. So GDC happened a few days ago. It ended a few days ago, and there were talks about the game developers unionizing.
Mm-hmm.
and fighting for change. And we all know, making first of all, the video game business is the biggest entertainment business in the world. It's like 40 billion or 30 billion dollars or something along those lines. It's even bigger than the movie industry. Making the process of making games can be really hard, especially during crunch time. People are probably doing 100 hours a week.
Well,
right?
I mean, I can definitely tell you as a programmer, I definitely have experienced the crunch time, the late nights. When you're like coming up against a deadline for whatever reason, it's got to get done. Whether it's your company's own doing or some other company like your publisher's own doing, or there's a movie tie-in that's coming out. That game's got to ship. It's got to come out. And
so, and we would we literally before the show we're doing show prep, and we were talking about this, and I think we lasted an hour just like throwing ideas of what this could mean for the industry, right? Before we even started the show.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely got into it, and there's a lot of, you can say like, oh yeah, unions are great, right? And it's like, well, they can be, but when you unionize like this, like it's gonna disrupt the whole entire industry, right?
Well, we were talking about crunch time. I think crunch time is where it gets sort of like a gray area of what can happen, right? Because if you say a game like Call of Duty comes out like clockwork, I think they turn around, 3 different studios turn around every 2 years. They clockwork coming out in the fall, right? So you have a new idea, you take that 1 year to sort of come up with that new idea and a new engine, or maybe a new engine, new art style, new story. And then you're coming out the next year or whatever. Or you take that the second year to sort of like do the heavy coding. And then you're coming out that third year. And it's crunch time. And people during crunch time work 18, 20 hours, a day in the last like couple of months of that game.
Yeah,
Before it goes, before it goes gold.
Sleep in their some people sleep in their office, There's a lot of the old school Japanese game devs, they that's just kind of their culture over there. They just work and work and work and work, and they take so much pride into it, and then they also get real. They get real like, well, this game has to come out. It's got to be good. It's got to whatever, and they just pour their life into it.
Now, what happens when we're unionized? Because that's not going to fly, right? It's your union's going to say 9 to 5 overtime. Anything.
Well, that's like that's the whole point, and like that's the things. Those are the things that are going to disrupt the industry because they're probably going to demand for like 8-hour work days, like minimal overtime if possible. They want more benefits, this and that. They want structured overtime pay or, whatever it is, and I think they deserve it. I think everybody deserves a union. Teachers have it. Electricians have it. Construction workers have it. Why not like, game devs, why not programmers in general? So from like that respect, it's not a bad idea. But if you take the 8-hour workday, right, and then you start imposing that, then that's going to spread out. Then that's going to spread out a game's development cycle, right? So like where you could pump out a game in like 6 months with a bunch of crunch time, may now be 9 months with no crunch time, And, publishers aren't necessarily going to like that because they want games to come out on a particular schedule. And, especially if it's like a movie tie-in, the game's got to come out when the movie comes out. Otherwise, they lose all the sales, Yeah,
you hear stories of like a toxic, abusive work environments for developers, video game developers.
Oh, it's grueling.
Working like 100 hours per week. Mm-hmm. And this is like their first job in the industry, and people are telling them, listen, if you can't hack it, then you're in the wrong industry. And that's horrible. It's like, listen, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. You should have, good work environment, right? Like you shouldn't have to work. I mean, I say that, but then it's like, hey, I want them to have a good work environment, but also if I also want to have good games, and I don't know. Like it shouldn't be a catch-22. Like I want them to have a safe, good work environment. But you know what? I work in a legal field, and sometimes I have to stay late. You know, like I had a long week this week.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't get home until, other than the snowstorm, I was getting home at like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't, like if you have a union, that would change everything. That would change it. That would rock the industry. Because a lot of games would get delayed. Right.
Right. Right. You'd have to rework all of your schedules and everything else just to accommodate the new union laws. And even then you're going to have, your union reps will be fighting on your behalf. So even those things could change one way or the other, So
I mean, I pose this idea to you because you work sort of in the industry of
I program.
Well, you work in a tech industry, not the video game industry, but you do programming. You program websites and stuff. I pose this because I think, let's say the game is gold or the game it's crunch time for the game, right?
Right. It's in the last like month or 2 months or whatever.
You're unionized, so you're working your normal 8 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for the game to go live, and everyone it's crunch time.
Mm-hmm.
You leave at 5 or whatever the time is, your 8 hour day or 6, right? I said, how about you have like in football, like you have the practice squad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where they're not on the team, but they're ready, right? They know the plays. They're not as good as the pros, the people who are, on the actual team. But if there's injury, you can pick people from their practice squad to sort of fill in until that person comes back. Or just like in the film industry, if you want to be a part of SAG, you want to be a part of the union, you need a couple of credits under your belt, 3 to 5 credits or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, before you could get you can't just say I'm an actor. You're in, the union. You need 3 to 5 credits under your belt. So you need to sort of do that hard labor, long hours without having the protection of the union to even get in the union. So why don't we have that sort of in like programming where, hey, I know I'm part of the union. I'm a developer for a AAA game and I'm working, 8 to 9 hours a day. It's crunch time. I worked my 1 or 2 hours overtime that I'm getting paid on the game. Why don't you bring in the second unit, the practice squad, the people who aren't in the union, who you pay hourly or whatever, who trying to get in, right? And they need these type of jobs to even get in the union, to work the extra 4 or 5 hours that day, while the person who is in the union, he worked his 8-hour schedule, he worked his 2 hours overtime, and now he gets to go home to his family. Why don't you have something like that?
I mean, it's an interesting proposition. I mean, because we're also, we're kind of speculating all this. There's probably a good chance they're going to fight for, the 8-hour workday, the sane normal workday. And if, that is the case, like they're going to need other developers to come in and whatnot. The situation that you're saying is that the people that come in, the problem that's going to happen is they're not intimate with the code, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's kind of coming in off the street, like not to say they're not qualified and whatnot, but they may not understand, like, okay, look, here's how our code works, right? Here's our main game engine, and like here's how like these function calls work, and like this kind of pulls in this and sets off this, and there's a bit of a ramp up, a bit of a learning curve to understand how the system works.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that, then they can, start to like get handed a checklist and say, all right, look, here's the number of outstanding bugs, tickets, whatever features that need to be implemented, like have at it. Right. Then you have to factor in the fact that they're probably going to be junior devs, right? Which means they don't necessarily have the experience of a senior dev or a, someone who's say working at like Rockstar or like Bethesda or whatnot, who has a couple games under their belt. It makes it a little tough. Like, we'll see what happens. Like a scenario like that very well could happen where they have like kind of filler guys come in and, help out with some of the work when like people have been taxed for their 8 hours, We'll see. Cause I mean, it's probably going to be a little bit before this even like takes off. And then you also have to get everybody into the union too, right? Like you got to say, like, hey, look,
again, again, there could be ways around it, and again, you know, you can call it. I'm sure they'll have their code name, right? They'll have their code name, non-unions or whatever, you know, whatever you want to call these guys.
Right.
But you bring them in hourly in the beginning. Like if you have a developer, you have your union workers, and then you have your hourly workers, right? So you can bring them in from the get-go,
right?
And to be a part of the union, you need to work a certain amount of hours, a certain amount of years, right? Under your belt to even get in the union. So that gives incentive to get these type of hourly jobs that probably don't pay anything, maybe a little above minimum wage, just to get your feet wet. And they're working alongside the people who are union, so they know the code, and they're getting hourly pay. So it's not like they're working long hours for the same amount of money. They're getting paid per hour that they're working. So, you know, when it's crunch time, you call these guys in and say, hey, you know, you guys were the night crew anyway. Like you were working like maybe 2 or 3 hours with the union guys and staying another 2 or 3 hours after they leave to still work on the game. And now it's crunch time. I need you to work 5 hours after these guys leave. So these guys leave at 5. I need you to work until 10:30. All right. And then these guys get, you know, a number of hours or years under their belt. And now they become union. Now they become the main, you know, developers in the game. And then you have the new batch, the new crop of people who are coming out of college, you know, junior devs, as you called it. And now they're working hourly, right? So I was saying maybe we could do it that way, and that can work.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we'll have to see how this all shakes out. You know, we're kind of just spitballing on this here, but it's certainly an interesting idea to a possible problem that may come up. All
right, we got a little serious there for a second. So let's jump back into Smash Brothers. We know Smash Brothers, talking about games that are gold or alive, that are pretty much ready right now. Smash Brothers again, it's going to be playable at E3. I mean, literally, they're going to have a tournament. Smash Brothers. They're going to have a tournament with the new Smash Brothers game. Hopefully, knock on wood, new Smash Brothers game, Smash 5, not a port.
It's going to be Smash 5. Come on.
We'll see. I'm hopeful. When Smash Wii U came out, Phil Spencer sort of did say he wouldn't mind Banjo-Kazooie going in Smash Wii U, Smash 4. Somebody asked him on Twitter, Banjo-Kazooie Smash 5? He said, I'm for it. Now, Nintendo's been working with Xbox, you know, with Minecraft and multiplayer crossplay, right? Banjo-Kazooie could happen. I mean, we have a new Rare game that's out that I can't play because they won't let me in. But this would be awesome if Banjo-Kazooie, a rare game, could be in Smash 5.
That'd be fantastic. Like, I mean, those characters were birthed on Nintendo. You know, Nintendo 64 specifically, you know. It'd be great to see them return home, for sure.
And with that said, let's get into the convo of the week. The characters we want to see in Smash Brothers 5 / the port of Smash Brothers Wii U.
Oh god.
Which we don't know. We don't know if it's a new game. I'm sorry. We don't know if it's a new game yet.
Oh my god.
We don't know. We don't know. It could be.
Okay. Here's how I know it's going to be Smash 5.
Because there's a new logo? I mean, we already talked about this.
No. Here's how I know it's going to be Smash 5. Shake Shack bet right now. New game Smash 5.
Not taking that. It's a new logo.
There you go. It's Smash 5. That's right. Because Danny will always make a bet when he knows he's right, when he's 100% sure, and that is a fact. That is why I bought him a Shake Shack burger when Destiny 2 came out back in September.
Because I knew Destiny 2 was coming out because they couldn't delay it.
Right. See? There you go. When Danny knows, he knows. And right now he does not know, which means
I don't know.
5.
Well, that was the whole
science,
point. I said,
baby.
I don't know. So it's Smash Brothers 5 or Smash Brothers Switch would sound better / Smash Brothers Wii U DX.
It is not a Smash 4 DX, let me tell you.
That would be funny if it was, but anyway.
I mean, it wasn't even called 4. It was just everyone called it 4 because, you know, they had to call it something.
All right.
There was no melee or brawl at the end.
So it was Wii U at the end, Smash Brothers Wii U.
I mean, I guess so, yeah.
So we both went Banjo-Kazooie on, right? Like, I mean, I think that's the consensus. Banjo-Kazooie should be on the Smash Bros.
No,
game.
he'd be awesome. He'd be awesome. You know.
But here are some characters that we both think should be in the new Smash Brothers game for the Switch. Crash Bandicoot should be on Smash Brothers.
Oh my god! Of course.
I think his spinning mechanic would work great in Smash Brothers. I'm sorry.
Well, okay. Smash would probably fit. I'm not gonna try and throw any shade on that. What do you feel about putting like Cortex in there or like some of the other characters from the Smash universe?
No. Just Crash.
Just Crash. Oh.
Just Crash.
Interesting.
I think. Listen, we already have the Crash Insane Trilogy coming to Switch, and I think this would be a great add-on to Smash Brothers.
I think it's a strong possibility. I could really kind of care less about that, but
yeah, we know you're a Crash hater.
It's certainly a strong possibility that he could be in there. So I mean, that's not that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I mean, almost certainly, Springman from ARMS is going to be in there.
Well, you would hope Springman. I mean, that's a new IP, right? ARMS is a new IP.
Yeah. I mean, they have. I mean, we definitely know from the commercial or the teaser or whatever it was. We know the Inkling girl and the Inkling boy. I believe both of them are going to be in there.
Yes.
I could see Springman, and I could see the girl with the blonde hair. I can't think of her name. I want to say Twintel, but I don't think it's Twintel.
No, I have no idea what her name is. I always play with Springman.
Right, because Springman's awesome. But that'd be like a great mechanic. It had these giant like spring arms come flying out. He'd be like Dowsum. It'd be so good.
I think Spiral. We're getting the Spiral collection in September. I think Spiral will be a great addition to. I mean, he'd be a great addition to Smash. I mean, we had Spyro games on the GameCube.
Sure did. That'd be kind of interesting.
Right. He could spin his tail. He could spit fire. I think he would be a great character for Smash.
So I put one of these down and like before the show, Danny's like, I have no clue who that character is. I'm like, really? How do you not know Dig Dug's son? I would love to put Mr. Driller on there to see him in the game.
I still have no idea who that is.
Oh my god!
What game was Mr. Driller in? Who the hell?
He was in Mr. Driller. The game was called Mr. Driller. It was on PlayStation. It was on Dreamcast. It was on PlayStation, Dreamcast. It was on Game Boy Advance. There you go. But I mean, it's a Namco property, right? And we already had Pac-Man in the last couple games. So, we know that bridge is open, right?
Well, we know that bridge is open to Bandai and Namco. And with that bridge being open, I'm going to pick something that we talked about, I think, last week.
Yeah.
Goku needs to be in Smash Brothers. I think that would be great. Even Namco thinks Goku should be in Smash Brothers.
Goku's the dream. Goku is the wet dream of every kid since the dawn of time.
He's the mic drop at E3 of Dragon Ball is in Smash Brothers.
Right. And then if you get Ryu, it's like Ryu and Goku head to head. It's like Christ. Sure. And I think he would fit in. I think he'd fit in pretty well. You'd have to have a Super Saiyan form and maybe like a Spirit Bomb.
No, but the Kamehameha wave is like secret move.
The Kamehameha wave. Yeah. No. That'd be awesome. We don't get a lot of and actually you ended up putting a character in from this series too, but Super Mario Brothers 2 or Super Mario Brothers USA, I guess, as it was known in Japan.
Super Mario Bros. 2.
Yeah. It didn't really get a lot of love like after it came out. Every now and again they'll like pick characters out of that series and like bring them into the fold. Sometimes you'll see a Shy Guy here and there, or like a Star Ryu or whatever. Sometimes you'll see any number of characters. Like it was like, oh yeah, that was from like Mario 2. And now it's a thing. So I mean we have Bowser, right? We have King Koopa, the king of the Koopas. Why don't we take Wart from Super Mario Brothers 2?
Who?
And put him in there. The villain of Mario 2.
I don't think anybody. I don't think anybody made it to the end of Super Mario
Well,
Brothers
I
2.
did. I made it to the end.
I know I didn't. I don't know anybody else who did either.
Oh no, Wart would be awesome. You know, he'd be good. I think he'd kind of fit in. We haven't
Wart.
seen him in any game since Super Mario Brothers 2,
Well,
which is weird.
I gotta say, my next character should have been in Nintendo Life's YouTube. They just did a video of Super Mario Brother characters that were forgotten. The forgotten Super Mario Brother characters.
Mm-hmm.
Wart is in that top 10 list.
Of course he is.
But this character should have been in that list because this character, I can't think of any other game other than Super Mario Brothers 2 and maybe a cameo here or there.
Mm-hmm.
Birdo was like the boss of every level.
Sure was.
2. Birdo was like a staple of Super Mario Brothers 2.
Birdo has been in some games.
Cameo.
I think he was a playable character in one of the Mario sports games.
A sports game that doesn't count. I mean, like a canon.
Oh,
like
come on,
the actual Mario game.
Well, but he's not going to be a playable character. He may be a boss.
Wasn't even a boss in in a new Mario game after Super Mario Brothers 2.
Right? No, you're right. Yeah, he'd be kind of decent. He could spit eggs and fire and all that. You know.
Yeah, he should have been in Super Mario Brothers World, the best game of all time, best Mario game, and the best game of all time. But anyway.
Right after Mario Brothers 3, of course.
Well, before, but go ahead.
You know, I think Capcom has had, obviously, like Ryu, I think was the big Capcom get. Right?
Mega Man.
And, Mega Man 2, so he was in there as well. So they have that bridge open, right? I'd love to see Arthur from Ghost and Goblins. Right?
Oh, that's a good pick right there. Yeah.
Right. He's got the armor and whatnot, throwing the lance. Like, that'd be kind of cool. Ooh, charge up lance attack.
I like him in the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's solid.
I like him in the Marvel. Yeah, listen, that's a solid pick right there. I could see him. Using the sword and stuff as a mechanic in Super Mario and Super Smash Brothers. Yeah, I can see that. This is a pipe dream. I got to be honest. My last one is a pipe dream, but it would be so good to see Scrooge McDuck in Smash Brothers.
Oh my God! You know what? Yes.
Right. They got the new DuckTales.
The DuckTales.
On Disney on Disney XD.
Right?
Oh,
you mean the cartoon? Yeah.
Yeah. You could use the jumping on the cane as a pogo stick as a mechanic in the game. This would be awesome. And Disney,
sure. I think golf club swing. Sure.
Yeah, Disney could put out a new DuckTales game.
I smell a good tie-in here. I smell a good tie-in. Wow, that'd be crazy.
All right,
but
Disney,
a little bit far-fetched, I think.
Disney, you got that for free.
Yeah. And since I guess like speaking of tie-ins and whatnot, like since Mario and Ubisoft had that unholy alliance of the Mario Rabbids crossover game, right? Which is fantastic, by the way. Like it's better than it ever should have been. I think it'd be cool if they either put in Rayman or put in the Rabbids.
I think the Rabbids would be most likely because it's a tie-in to their Mario Rabbids game, which I still haven't played.
Right. Yeah, you probably never will. You probably never will. But it's not your jam.
No. I will.
It's not your jam.
When I put hours into that game, probably not. But I will play it eventually.
You'll play the first level and then go, nah, it's not.
It will be at least $20 next holiday season. And
of course, of course. But yeah, I mean, that's not too far off of like a thing. Like Nintendo and Ubisoft have always been really close. Ever since like the Wii days. They've just been like, yeah, we'll go ahead and put stuff on your system, and it's good. They put out good material on their system. So
no, that was a good pick, and that was a safe bet because I think the Rabbids will be in that game, and that really will piss people off. But it's a tie-in, and that makes sense. But I think Rayman
they got to get over
would be Rayman would be the great addition to that game.
Sure. He's a little bit similar to Springman, where he's got these weird like appendages that fly out and whatnot. But I could see him kicking some butt for sure. Well, that about wraps up our predictions, and that about wraps up episode 111 of Rated G. I want to thank you guys for sticking with us, for being fans, for listening, for commenting, interacting with us. If you want to do that, you can hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, YouTube, and Vero at Rated G for Gamers. You can email us at info@ratedgforgamers.com. So please like, listen, subscribe, and as always,
keep gaming.